Thank you. How are you best suited to serve humanity? Wow. That question totally changed my life. I read that question and I thought I was having a really great life. I definitely didn't think anything was missing. But just really take that question in. For me, I just had to take it to heart. How are you best suited to serve humanity? What does that mean? I didn't have a clue. So I put myself on a quest. And this is when my husband hands me an article about the Taliban taking over Afghanistan. They had imprisoned an entire country of women in their homes. Women were banned from working, and they were banned from receiving an education. So imagine if all the women that you know were ordered to quit their jobs. Or as a woman, if I wanted to learn to read or write, it meant risking my life. Now, I was born here locally, born right here in Santa Cruz and grew up here in Santa Cruz. And I had never had a chance to travel abroad, so I didn't know about groups like the Taliban. And I absolutely did not know what we as women are faced with. And I think it's important to just take a quick moment here. When I looked around the world and asked, where are the women? I was really shocked at what I found. Oh, it's still I can't even, let's see if I can get through this. Did you know that we only own 1% of the world's assets? As young women, we are mostly dying in childbirth because of a forced childhood marriage. The majority of us are illiterate because as girls, it's either not a priority to educate a girl or it's not allowed. We actually do 2/3 of the world's work, but we only earn 1/10 of the world's income. And did you know that we are being sold into human trafficking at record-breaking numbers? There are actually more slaves right now in the world today than ever before, and the majority are women and girls. We are being vaginally mutilated. We are being stoned to death. We are being set on fire. We are being trafficked, traded, bought, and sold. I think it's a world gone crazy. We as women are the face of poverty. Thankfully, there's some good news out of all this. Thankfully, research shows that when you put money into the hands of impoverished women, you can change the world. Research shows that when you put money into the hands of women, the health and well-being of society is greatly improved because women are the world's caregivers. Now, when I found that out, that blew me away. In fact, my husband and I, who's here, we were so taken by this concept that you could really change the world just by getting money into the hands of the poorest people. We were so taken by this that we ended up selling just about everything we owned, and we moved into a barn. We didn't wait till we were rich enough. We didn't wait until we had enough time to do anything about this, or if we had any expertise or any training. We didn't even wait until we knew what we were doing, okay? We moved into this barn, and by downsizing and letting go of all that overhead, I had all this time I could volunteer. And what I did is I looked for a way to put money into the hands of these impoverished women. The challenge is that what can these women do when they can't read or write? And this is when I got my idea. Home parties. Okay, think of Avon or Tupperware. It's a $100 billion industry. Can you believe that? $100 billion worth of goods is being sold in living rooms right now. Now, if you've been to a home party, you know what I'm talking about. This means you'll find like plastic containers or makeup that's sold in home parties, even cooking tools are sold in home parties. $100 billion worth of goods. I'd like for you to think about a new kind of home party. So at this home party, you're gonna find my necklace here. Oh, can you see it? Yeah? Oh, it's hooked on my microphone. Sorry. There you go. It makes a sound. The necklace makes a sound. This necklace, this is one of my most favorite pictures. These girls were all rescued from brothels. They made my necklace. And this is what you'll find at a new home party business model. You can go to the next one. You're also going to find these baskets that were made by Soleil. She survived a massacre in Darfur and now lives in a refugee camp in Chad. There are over 500,000 people living in camps. There's not very many people that could afford to buy her baskets, and this is all she knows how to do. You can find her baskets at this new kind of home party. You will find these pillows being made by these amazing group of women in India. And this story is always a hard one for me to get through. Recently, in this village, a little baby girl was found buried alive because in this village, girls have absolutely no value. These women are courageous enough to stand up against that, and what they've done is they created this project to bring income into the village and at least show that women have some value. And at our new kind of home party, of course you're going to find a doll. This is actually the first project that I started, the Afghan Widows Doll Project. This doll here was made by Homa. She is a widow with 8 children in Afghanistan. I started the project with 10 women that were studying in a secret school for girls during the time of the Taliban. We used one sewing machine, and they used the scraps from their own clothes, and they started their very first businesses making these dolls. Now, these women were told that they had no viable skills. Yet I saw them go from $1 a day to $11 a day selling these dolls at home parties. One doll, if they sell just one doll, it feeds 6 children. Thank you. So this new kind of home party model allows us to change lives locally as well. And I'd love for you to meet Susanna. Susanna is from the east area of Salinas here locally. She lives in a pretty tough neighborhood there. She lost her brother to a drive-by shooting. Now, her brother actually was not in a gang. He had the same car as a gang member, and they made a mistake and they killed him. Susanna, just like all these women around the world, somehow found hope for a better life for herself and her family. She's running a new kind of home party business, so she actually runs it as a business. She sells crafts made by the world's poorest women at home parties. She tells me that selling the Afghan dolls is one of her favorite projects. She earned enough money from selling dolls and crafts to move her family to a safer neighborhood. So this model allows Susanna in Salinas, surrounded by gangs, to connect all the way across the world with an Afghan widow surrounded by the Taliban, and together, it's so amazing to me, together they can lift each other out of poverty. But it's not possible without people like Nancy. Nancy's a local, a lot of people know her around here, so maybe people in the audience that recognize Nancy. She holds the record for holding the most home parties. All she has to do is invite her family and friends to her home, and Susanna comes and makes a presentation and sells the crafts. And Nancy and her guests have now met Susanna, who lives in Salinas, and they have connected with women all over the world, including women from Afghanistan. So this connection may have never happened without this home party. So in doing this amazing work that I've been up to, connecting all these people all over the world, I do want to share one last thing, and that is, I don't think we have a clue about each other. I was once with one of my dear friends from Afghanistan that lived here locally in the Bay Area, and she approached me one day, and she said that she's been meaning to ask me a question. At this point, I had known her for maybe 2 years, and all this time, she'd been working up the courage to ask me a question. And you could tell it was a pretty serious question. So she asked me, "How are you having sex all day long?" I don't know where she got that one from. I mean, that was a total shock. Turns out that there's a lot of bootlegged porn going around Afghanistan. And talk around this country is that us Americans have sex all day long. And they're super curious how we're accomplishing anything else. So imagine her following me for these 2 years. If I go to the bathroom or go into a meeting, she's trying to figure out how I'm making this work. So amazing. This kind of thing, though, it leads me to believe that there must be a bazillion things that we don't know about each other, that cultures don't understand about each other. And if we're going to solve some of these big problems, wouldn't it make sense to even have a basic understanding? I believe that the best way you can help someone is just to get to know them. This is the essence of the work we've been doing at Rising International. So I've answered that question, that big important question that hit me in the face several years ago, and I now spend my time looking for the overlooked, the undervalued, the cast aside. For the most part, they are women and girls. I'm dedicating my life to help them find their voice, their freedom, and their power. How are you best suited to serve humanity? Thank you.